Disney's poo problem. Let's talk about it up next. Hey everybody, welcome aboard to another episode of OG 55, Orange Grove 55. I want to welcome you all so much for coming on to the channel and supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. So in this video, I am going to talk about this news that came out the other day about Winnie the Pooh. So Winnie the Pooh, as of 2022, January 1st, 2022 is officially public domain. Now, a lot of people have been kind of like doing this whole doom and gloom thing in regards to Disney and how it relates to the public domain of Winnie the Pooh. People need to kind of slow down a little bit. Okay, so really what this means is that the storybook, right, of Winnie the Pooh is public domain. Not the Disney version of the character. Okay, there's a big difference there. It's kind of like, let's take Peter Pan, for example. The story of Peter Pan is public domain. Any studio can make a movie about Peter Pan, and we've seen dozens of movies based on, on the story of Peter Pan, whether it be from Universal or I think even Fox. A lot of various studios have capitalized on the story of Peter Pan, right? But the Disney version of those characters are still very much protected by Disney legally, right? The same thing pertains here to Winnie the Pooh. The story, the characters of Winnie the Pooh are public domain now. So if Universal wants to make a Winnie the Pooh movie, they can do that. They just can't use the Disney version of that character, though. Okay, so that's the only thing that's really changed in this whole situation, right? So essentially, Winnie the Pooh becomes basically like every other Disney fairy tale that they've ever made a movie on. That's basically what it becomes. It doesn't change the game too much, but in this video, I wanted to talk about what it means for the attraction at Disneyland, because look, Princess Tiana is moving in. Okay, they're going to retheme Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog. Well, we all know that Winnie the Pooh sits right across from Splash Mountain. So is this going to affect, this whole area? Right? Is Disney going to sort of kind of abandon Winnie the Pooh because, well, now they have a reason to? Yes and no. Yes and no. Okay. And this is my overall thoughts on this. I think potentially it could mean a lot for Disney and this whole area. Right out the gate, I think no. I think there's a huge chance that Disney's just going to continue the course they're on. And that course likely consists of just keeping the Pooh ride and having Princess Tiana across the way in Splash Mountain. But now that Winnie the Pooh is public domain, and now that companies like Universal, Comcast, whatever, can make Winnie the Pooh movies and content, not the Disney version, but still use the character, that might suck away some of the merchandise power of the character. Because now you can have various versions of the character and various versions of this character being sold via merchandise, being via streaming shows, or what have you. That might suck away some of the profits, some of the money-making potential for Disney and this character. Okay, now it might not be like, Universal. They might not make the exact same version. Obviously, they can't, of Winnie the Pooh. But if they're creating a film that's Winnie the Pooh and it's a different design and they're selling merchandise on that different design, will that take away from some of the merchandise power that Disney has with their version? It's possible. It's very, very possible. And Disney is very data, money focused. It's always been that way long before Chapek. I hate to break it to you guys, long before Chapek. So if the money starts to dry up with Winnie the Pooh, and they start to see sort of a siphoning off of the profits for this merchandise because other studios, other companies are now able to capitalize on this character. I do think the Winnie the Pooh attraction is in jeopardy. I think it's a possibility that they decide that, Disney, they decide that it's just not worth it. Maybe they'll maybe they'll just retheme it to Tiana or something else. I don't know. It's a possibility. Right now, I don't think it's in jeopardy, though. Right now, I think Disney's going to have kind of a wait and see sort of approach with the whole situation. But if it does sort of undercut the merchandise, yeah, I think it will affect it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's a very interesting situation. But again, a lot of these grave dancers that are sort of like, oh, Disney's done, they don't have control of Winnie the Pooh. That's just not true. Disney has complete control of their version of Winnie the Pooh, just like Disney has complete control of their version of Cinderella and Peter Pan. Basically, all this does is sort of put Winnie the Pooh in the same category as all their fairy tales. That's it. Okay. But we'll see what impact this has on the merchandise. If it, like I said earlier in the video, if it has a big impact on the merchandise, I do think the Winnie the Pooh attraction is definitely on the chopping block. It's a very big possibility, right? It's a very big possibility. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this whole idea of Winnie the Pooh being like public domain and sort of like the ability for all these other studios to create Winnie the Pooh merchandise and what have you, and sort of siphoning off some of that merchandising power from Disney? Do you think that's a real thing? Do you think that it's possible that that's going to create to the removal of the Winnie the Pooh ride at Disneyland? Or do you think, no, it'll be just like everything else, like Winnie the Pooh, Snow White, it'll just continue as usual? I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.